Okay. Again, what the hell? Doing nothing else here. Let's see what we can do. Turkey came out very good. My general approach is brine it. For those not familiar, it's like you take the mix up kind of a basically you mix kind of a seasoning and salt and you soak the turkey in like a gallon of water in a bag. You soak it over like at least 12 hours. So everything kind of seeps into it, and gets inside. And it really seasons up the bird. And this one I did a little more elaborate than previous things, where it also is a Kinder's, brine kit. Man, they got a big thing. Because it also included a seasoning rub. So yeah, soaked it, in the bag overnight. Anyhow, because it wasn't quite completely defrosted. So it helped the defrosting period too. But that got on there. Put it again there, and because one thing is also I couldn't find, it was still frozen, so I couldn't pull out the bag with the gizzards and the neck and the heart. First time I'd seen the heart, thing, butterball thing. Okay, I was tossing out the gizzards. I'm not doing anything with them. So, but yeah, and also the seasoned rub, the rub on that then and cooking the 14-pound bird. So 3 hours later, we're enjoying supposedly a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. Thing is, none of this food was eaten at the first Thanksgiving. Not even the turkey, I don't think. I understand it was mainly shellfish, I think, there. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it just came out damn good. Again, when intervening year, it's hard to compare one year to the next. You forget but this definitely came out well. Keep in mind next time that kind of Now earlier we got a Thanksgiving wishes from Stamy, who lives in England. That not afraid of not to chime as an aside to me. I cannot recommend that the British take up the tradition of Thanksgiving. Now, this is one thing. No, this is purely an American holiday anyway, with American origins and questionable American history too, because there's a few things that. But it's also it's a base of two Christmas dinners that close together. Basically, that's a bit much. But also, what would the British have to be thankful for at this time? Getting rid of the Puritans? I really didn't get rid of it. It was just the more extreme one. Like, get out. So no, any idea? We should do that too. No, no, no. You got enough. There's waiting for someone to wander in here and long enough to actually make a question or two. A few folks pop in occasionally, but they'll pop right out. And yes, a turkey leg. That's one of the non-negotiable things with Thanksgiving. I get it. I get at least one turkey leg. One thing used to irritate the hell out of me when I was a little kid. They'd strip the meat all off the bone, and then here you go. No, that's not what I wanted. I want the Henry VIII treatment here. I want the bone. I want the giant turkey leg on a leg. It's a part of the attraction to go on the Ren Fair, and it's part of the thing with Thanksgiving. I'm going to damn drumstick. I don't know if they're trying to think, oh, a little kid can't. No, watch me handle it. Watch this little kid handle that big drumstick. One thing I'm rather proud of myself on, actually, I was not really a messy kid in that respect. At one time, a whole bunch of us, with them, well, not okay. It was, I'm with my folks and a bunch of their adult friends. There used to be an ice cream parlor over around roughly 32nd and Youngfield. That's completely gone now. They tore me. Back when I was a kid, it was an ice cream parlor. It became an old Chicago pizza place later on. And pretty good. I don't know why they should, but they just took it all out, and it's now a gas station. The big, grocery store gas station. But back then, it was like after church or something. And they're all with their little 1 or 2 scoops of ice cream, and they're getting napkins a little bit. I got a triple scoop. I did not need one single napkin. I ate that thing by my and did not make a mess, not even on my face. Okay, so So I may be, cluttered around my life, but as far as personal eating habits, no, I was not a messy kid in that respect. I always wonder what the hell these are. Tendons of some sort. I think I see in some larger chickens you might see that develop, and usually not. But let's see. I'm bit of a standstill on the bridge, mainly just because the available space is not here. But there's certain things that how to proceed on this, because I think there would have to be some altering of some sort to that science panel to make it fit, because it doesn't quite fit right, which is weird. Because I'm assuming it was molded straight, originally started from a original part. So I have to figure out how that's going to work. I hope it doesn't turn into a major surgery thing, but if need be, I can see a way where I can make it work with because I don't need the entire panel, so I can make cut out make a piece of it and make it fit a standard panel that's already there. And thinking I might put the figures together, get that out of the way, because that's pretty much inconsequential to the kid at large. But no, I got pretty much traditional thing. Got the turkey, mashed potatoes, did some stuffing. Kids just did her green bean casserole. And the way she does it is different. It's her own, I don't know, the family recipe, just her own twist on it. But she insists on doing golden mushrooms instead of not just regular green mushroom, but golden mushroom soup. And also, she mixes in the fried onions with the green beans. So it adds a little crunch in there, and it's not just topping. And it is quite good. In fact, she made up 2 pans just for last time we kind of, made a little more than we should have. Oops. Is that a calculator button? Oh, what do you know? I don't have to go hunting for it. It's right there on the keyboard. Never noticed that. I've had this keyboard for years. But we're just sort of biding our time until somebody shows up. No. Stop it. All right. All right, let's do a little current events here. Oops. All right. Oh, dear. Let's see. Currently, Detroit Lions 14, Green Bay Packers 23. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And I said earlier in a tweet, it's going to be the one time Detroit actually shows up for a game, but not today, apparently. The Packers are ready for them. Okay, I really don't need that up. So we'll see what happens on that. Ooh, yep. No. What that is? So yeah, just waiting for some other recluse who has nothing else going on Thanksgiving and wondering, hey, he's on. Find out what he's doing. But yeah. Oh, let's see what else we got going on here. Not a lot of Star Trek news today. Let's see. Clear out some stuff here. Even on a holiday, the email piles up completely. Let's see. It's Gotta think of why Star Trek Next Generation actors had 3 contracts. Okay. Let's see what's going on with that in a minute. Let's see. Michael Kuda posted something on Facebook. How the English Civil War caused the American Thanksgiving. Yeah, I can tell you that one because it was the Cavaliers. All right, this should be fun. Something from the Smithsonian about what was on the menu of the first Thanksgiving. Let's probably take a look at that PayPal thing here. And Drexler posted something. And let's clear away the dross. Has anybody shown up yet? Not yet. All right, so Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that was one thing I'm gonna hopefully actually remember this time and all. Because Clint Walker, Clint Howard rather. When they were doing the thing with the Tranya, yeah, here we are. Pink grapefruit juice is what they use. He hates pink grapefruit juice. To this day, he hates pink grapefruit juice. And he was asking at the time, like, can we like do something? Put some 7-Up in or something, and then. But his dad, Rance Howard, who had also appeared in several of Ronnie's movies, and that you're going to drink the grapefruit juice and you're going to like it. So it's like kind of suck it up, kid. This is professional acting. You're going to act like So he's so. And they originally wanted to shave his head, but no. So the bald cap and they rigged a little headband around it to hide the scene. Because besides because Clint was like 4, 5, You imagine, because kids are cruel. Imagine him showing up at school the next day and then thinking, but he's also a working actor at that point. So it's like, I don't know. Let me check. What were the years of Gentle Ben? Okay. All right. Okay, so it wouldn't have interfered with that because Gentle Ben was 1967. Yeah, the first year is 67. There was a TV movie before that. Let's see about that. IMDb. The Wedlow family. Let's see. But I remember, it started off as a kind of a TV movie thing. Or maybe it was just one of those, they combined the first 2 episodes into a movie. They did that a lot back then. Yeah, I was 67, so that wouldn't have interfered. But still, wait, back it up. Wait a minute. Forgot the main. Let's check Clint Howard's, resume. He was born in 59, so he would have been like 5 years old. Yeah, his film debut was Courtship Betty's Father in 63. And that would have been the movie version, not the TV version with Bill Bixby. And he was the voice of Roo in the Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree in 66. Okay, yeah. So Jungle Book. Hathy Joe, the elephant. Yeah, he was the. He played Roo in a few of them cartoons. That's filmography. We might have them. Television's a different list. Yeah, he was in a couple episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. 5 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, 62 to 64. And Breaking Point, 63. Vacation Playout, 64. Bailey's About Boy, 60. And The Fugitive, 65. Bonanza did an episode of 65. And Patty Duke Show, 66. And yeah, he was a working actor at that age. So yeah, no, you cannot shave his head. He's got other gigs. So and that was for this 3 contract thing. Let's see what is going on here. So, yeah, when Next Gen started, nobody knew this was actually going to work. Because they were taking quite a risk there. Roddenberry was past his prime. Then, he wasn't exactly a picnic to work with the first time. And he essentially retired. He basically came out of retirement to do Next Generation. But mainly because he was mortified what they were going to do to his baby if he didn't come back and take control. So they did 3 contracts, one for the pilot, one for the first half of the season, and then one for if the show was extended or picked up. So they had to make sure they got paid. There's going to be no way they're going to sneak out of this and not pay them. So moving on here. And in Oxford United land, we got Des Buckingham. Ready to, he's an Oxford boy, so it's his home, his boyhood team. He's come back to coach him, so it's getting a kick out of that. There's one comment here: Liam Manning leaving may have been the best thing to happen to the team this season, which is maybe it's maybe it's what's the best of graveyard a bit, but but Manning got this team set up really big time. I think they're still like number 2 in the league right now. There's only 3 losses all season. And total of 32 points out of possible 45. So they got them very well set up here. So Des Buckingham is coming in. He's got, either he's got a hell of a head start going on thing and just pick up where he left off and build on it, or this could be the biggest, screw up in, Football Association history. But no, he's got very good record on like Mumbai. Apparently, got them first time in the playoffs. So he's got a record to run on, just nothing in the Football Association, but he's got other leagues. And he is promising to bring an attacking style of, to make them a little more aggressive. And the first game will be Saturday against Cheltenham. It'll be an away crowd, but it's sold out. That'll be his first, his welcome to the team or something. And that's it, right? So at the time of Manning's exit, United were just off the back of 3 league games without a win. Isn't just ties. But no, I'm not saying this is the start of a trend that would see United start to fall down the table. But Manning choosing to leave for Bristol City may well end up being the best thing to happen to the club this season. Only time will tell if this is true or not. But in the meantime, let's all savor the fact that we have one of our own in the hot seat and get behind him and the team the rest of the season. Yeah, sports writers, you can be a homer. You can do this sort of thing. Will Terrell with the Oxford Mail. No. Do you have anybody? Nope, not yet. I'm still talking to the to the wall. But anyway. And they have their own psychologist, psychotherapist. I'm not going to get into that, though. All right. Auto World, which is the guys who own Round 2. Now they're doing a BOGO sale right now. Unfortunately, I can't take part just yet. Okay, so yeah, just because your raise got you got a raise doesn't mean you can't spend it more than you get. All right, let's see what we got from Mike Okuda here. Ooh. All right, something from behind the scenes of For All Mankind. I am able to see that show, and I'm a little leery of it just because it's like, again, then a picture of Doug and Mike, kind of a cartoon style. And going to the local Oxford Mail here. Okay, moving on along here. Sideshow Collectibles, their Black Friday sale coming up, and sorry, the stuff's still too expensive for me. All right, what was on the menu at the first Thanksgiving? Let's find out. And anything else you need to worry about here? Oh, the itty bitty chameleon in Madagascar. It's about the size of your fingernail. Maybe the world's smallest reptile. All right, let's move on along here. Nah, that'll make it. Can't do anything either way. Okay, and hello. Oh, one of those. Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. It's the Revell model of the JJ Prize. I mean, frankly, I'm still just leery of the ship in general. From what I've seen, it is a very well engineered kit. It's just the design is, full of gas. But right. Let's get to the menu here. Okay, traditional Thanksgiving dinner includes turkey, stuffing, and mashed potatoes, but the first Thanksgiving likely included wildfowl, corn, porridge, and venison. Let me mute that now. Okay, we should have stopped it. Okay, this is from Megan Gambino at the Smithsonian. Today, traditional Thanksgiving dinner includes any number of dishes: turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, candied yams, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. But if one were to create a historically accurate feast consisting only of those foods that historians are certain were served at the so-called first Thanksgiving, there would be slimmer pickings. Wildfowl was there, corn in grain form or for bread or for porridge was there, venison was there, says Kathleen Wall. There are absolutes. Two primary sources, the only surviving documents that reference the meal, confirm that these staples were part of the harvest celebration shared by the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Plymouth Colony in 1621. Edward Winslow, English teacher who attended, wrote home to a friend. Our harvest being gotten in, our governor sent 4 men on fowling, so that we might, after a special manner, rejoice together after we had gathered the full fruit of our labors. Then 4 in one day killed as much fowl as, with a little help beside, served the company almost a week. At which time, amongst other recreations, we exercised our aims, many of the Indians coming amongst us, and among the rest of the greatest King Massasoit, with some 90 men, whom for 3 days we entertained and feasted. And they went out and killed 5 deer, which they brought to the plantation and bestowed on our governor, upon the captain and others. William Bradford, the governor Winslow mentions, also described the autumn of 1621, adding, and besides waterfowl, there was great store of wild turkeys, of which they took many, besides venison, etc. Besides, they had about a peck a meal a week to a person, or now since harvest, Indian corn to that proportion. But determining what else the colonists in Wampanoag might have eaten at the 17th century feast takes some digging. To form educated guesses, Wall, a foodways culinarian at Plymouth Plantation, a living history museum in Plymouth, Massachusetts, studies cookbooks and descriptions of gardens from the period, archaeological remains such as pollen samples that might clue in on what the colonists were growing. Our discussion begins with the bird. Turkey was not the centerpiece of the meal, as it is today, explains Wall. Though it is possible the colonists and American Indians cooked wild turkey, she suspects that goose or duck was the wildfowl choice. In her research, she has found that swan and passenger pigeons would have been available as well. Passenger pigeons, extinct in the wild for over a century now, were so thick in the 1620s they said you could hear them from a quarter of an hour before you saw them. Says, well, they say a man could shoot at the birds in flight and bring down 200. Small birds are often spit roasted, while larger birds are boiled. I also think some birds in a lot of recipes you see this were boiled first, then roasted to finish them off. Or think not that they were still alive, but that's the finish of cooking. Things were roasted first and then boiled. Early roasting gives them nicer flavor, sort of caramelizes them on the outside and makes the broth darker. It is possible that the birds were stuffed, though probably not with bread. Bread made from maize, not wheat, was likely part of the meal, but exactly how it was made is unknown. The pilgrims instead stuffed birds with chunks of onion and herbs. There's a wonderful stuffing for goose in the 17th century that is just shelled chestnuts as well. I'm thinking of that right now, and it is sounding very nice. Since the first Thanksgiving was a 3-day celebration, she says, I have no doubt whatsoever that birds that are roasted one day, the remains of them are all thrown into a pot and boiled up to make a broth the next day. That broth thickened with grain to make a porridge, or a pottage. In addition to wild fowl and deer, the colonists in Wampanoag probably ate eels and shellfish, such as lobster, clams, and mussels. They were drying shellfish and smoking other sorts of fish as well. According to the culinarian, the Wampanoag, like most eastern woodlands people, had a varied and extremely good diet. The forest provided chestnuts, walnuts, and beech nuts. They grew flint corn, multicolored Indian corn, and that was their staple. They grew beans, which they used from when they were small and green until they were mature. Well, they also had different sorts of pumpkins and squashes, or squash. As we are taught in school, the Indians showed the colonists how to plant native crops. The English colonists plant gardens in March of 1620 and 1621. Says, well, we don't know exactly what's in those gardens, but in the later sources, they talk about turnips, carrots, onions, garlic, and then pumpkins and the sort of things they were growing. It should be noted here that none of the original colonists, like the Mayflower colony, none of them were farmers or they were shopkeepers. It's like, what? Who the hell are you going to sell your goods to? There's nobody there yet. Something, it's up to local Indians, and we don't need this crap. Of course, to some extent, the exercise of reimagining the spread of food of the 1621 celebration became a process of elimination. You look at what an English celebration in England is at the time. What are the things on the table? You see lots of pies in the first course, and in the second course, meat and fish pies. To cook a turkey in a pie was not terribly uncommon. But it's like, no, the pastry isn't there. The colonists did not have butter and wheat flour to make the crust for pies and tarts. That's right, no pumpkin pie. That is a blank on the table for the English eye. So what are they putting on instead? I think meat, and more meat. Meat without potatoes, that is. White potatoes originating in South America and sweet potatoes from the Caribbean had yet to infiltrate North America. Also, there would have been no cranberry sauce. It would be another 50 years before an Englishman wrote about boiling cranberries and sugar into a sauce to eat with meat. It says, well, if there was beer, there were only a couple of gallons for 150 people for 3 days. She thinks that to wash it all down, the English in Wampanoag drank water. All this naturally begs the follow-up question. So how did the Thanksgiving menu evolve into what it is today? Wall explains that the Thanksgiving holiday, as we know it, took root in the mid-19th century. At this time, Edward Winslow's letter, printed in a pamphlet called Mount's Relation, and Governor Bradford's manuscript titled Plymouth Plantation, were rediscovered and published. Boston clergyman Alexander Young printed Winslow's letter in his Chronicle of the Pilgrim Fathers, and in the footnotes to the resurrected letter, he somewhat arbitrarily declared that the Feast of the First Thanksgiving, Wall and others at Plymouth Plantation prefer to call it the Harvest Celebration of 1621. There was nostalgia for colonial times, and by the 1850s, most states and territories were celebrating Thanksgiving. Sarah Josepha Hale, editor of the popular women's magazine Godey's, Godey, ladies' book, a real trend center for running a household, was a leading voice in establishing Thanksgiving as an annual event. Beginning in 1827, Hale petitioned 13 presidents, the last of whom was Abraham Lincoln. She pitched her idea to President Lincoln as a way to unite the country in the midst of the Civil War, and in 1863, he made Thanksgiving a national holiday. Throughout her campaign, Hale printed Thanksgiving recipes and menus in Godey's ladies' book. She also published close to a dozen cookbooks. She really is planting this idea in the heads of women that this is something they should want to do, says Wall. So when there is finally a national day of Thanksgiving, there's a whole body of women who are ready for it, who know what to do because she told them. A lot of the food we think of, roast turkey with sage dressing, creamed onions, mashed turnips, even some of the mashed potato dishes were kind of exotic then and are there. And that's it there. Yeah. So the modern idea of Thanksgiving Yep. Everything's going great so far. No one's been shot around here. We're under a winter storm warning. It is not snowing yet, but we're expecting to get dumped on before too long. Right now, I'm going through my email on the side here. You have to stay on top of this stuff. Now I saw that picture. And let's see. No, not going to bother with that. However, I think I am going to save this picture here. Let me put this up on a different thing here. I can show you what I'm doing here. Where are we? Yeah, I'm throwing that up there. I'm going to save that. Maybe do something with that later. At some point. I don't know. Just something to go into the library. It looks like a George Perez picture. Actually, I've already got it. So, never mind. Yeah. And then go to what's left of it here. What media shot? Oh, it Blaze Me. Okay. I don't know about that. Okay, well, we got two people talking somewhere, and okay. Yeah, I don't worry about that. Okay. So that's it for that. So, ow. Whoop. If anyone has any questions or observations, maybe to jump in here. Otherwise, there'll be a large chunk of me just sitting here eating. And I'm not entirely sure that's an audience I want to go for. I know it's out there. Although generally they're more interested in, watching, giggly little Japanese girls eating stuff. I don't know. I don't understand it. Certain parts of Japanese culture are rather admirable. Other ones is like, what the hell? Yeah. We still got a lot of turkey in the kitchen there. So at some point today, I'll be going in there and ripping apart that bird, bagging things up. Fortunately, I got a lot of storage bags. Mainly got them for the sake of getting more storage bags. I didn't really think this far ahead. But... I'm of the opinion, like, hit the meat first. That's your main thing there. And then move on to mashed potatoes. And while, yes, I can do mashed potatoes from scratch, and very well, thank you very much. This is a case of, no, just punt. Got a family-sized Bob Evans pub and, called it done. Did up a couple of racks, of those King Hawaiian, rolls. Then I will go through them eventually. But it's this green bean casserole. Oh yeah. Yeah, the main trick to this stuff, again, golden mushroom soup, and French cut green beans. Don't go with a cheap one. And don't be skimpy with the fried onion, the fried onion things you're topping, just because part of it's gonna be not just topping and mix it in with the stuff. Because when you scoop it up, it's all gonna get mixed up anyway. So what's the difference? All right. Let's do another check on the got an update on the Lions-Packers game going on. We are, fourth quarter, 6 minutes ago here. Packers are up 29-14. And, well, Detroit has the ball, though. They're on there. They're at the Green Bay 12. 4th and 7, though. They'll probably go with a field goal. But, yeah, up. If they did, they missed it because it's now Green Bay ball. And 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line. 6 minutes left. They really don't have to do much. If they pass at all, the whole thing, it's going to be just because they didn't quite make the first. I would keep it on the ground and just run out the clock because they're down. Packers are down just slightly more than 2 touchdowns, so they just got to run it, right? Looking at the breakdown here, they scored 20 points in the first quarter against the Lions. Only got 6, and then it's just like a field goal in the second, maybe a couple of field goals in the third. The Lions got 8 points in the third quarter. I'm thinking, yeah, they only get 6 points in the first, 8 points in the third. I'm guessing maybe they did a 2-point on a touchdown. So that's a fun. Might find out later if I really give a crap. This is the most I talk about football in years, guys. Because the entire NFL pretty much lost me a long time ago. Doesn't matter. I'm not going out. Okay. Especially if that snow hits between now and then, which could very well happen. You know? Whatever it is, it'll wait until tomorrow. This is what I live with. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I think it would be remiss if we didn't check in on the Cowboys, but I don't think they'd start yet. They do the late game. And it is it might be a half hour away from even starting in Dallas. So. Again, not that I really care about Dallas. I've hated them ever since '77 when they beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 12. So, but here we are. I'm guessing Rosetta is busy because she hasn't even responded to my thing. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. Let's see, checking my Twitter activity. Oh, God, the struggle continues over there on the various things here. So. Actually, one good thing about being followed by these porn bots just show up and start liking stuff out of the blue. They've managed to unearth some old posts that I did a while back and thought, oh yeah, I could brought that back up. So, especially when before I got the check mark and had to do these things in multi-part, to go back and put them all back into one big long thing, made it easier to read. One of them is going positively viral. It's like usually I'm looking at things like in the analytics like 70s, 58, 19,000 on this one thing. We're just talking about and like, why this one? It's about my fancy account getting nuked for no good reason. But this one for some reason is like 19. I mean, I just reposted it just a few days ago. It's like 19,000 impressions, 703 engagements, 284 expansions, and 403 times they've visited my profile. I was like, who is this idiot? I'm just wondering what the hell's going on here. Like I said, I've got some thoughts on what's going on there, but I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. And plus, it's a holiday, so why get into it? Well, let's see. Whoops. No. Cancel that. Thankfully, they got to warn that. Do you really want to? No, I don't want to leave. Okay. So, yeah, nothing new yet on the Fact Trek thing. That is a site I recommend everybody go check out at some point if you're really interested in the actual history of Star Trek and debunking certain myths that have grown up over the years. Like the old thing that apparently started at George Lindsay, Gomer Pot, from Andy Griffith's show. Started that he was up for the role of Spock. No. It was a joke comment made by Shatner during a rather snarky, retrospective on Nickelodeon. Supposed to start until midnight, okay? Well, again, is your package in? Yes. Typical.
I got the notification from the UPS store.
All right, fine. So we got almost an hour here. I think we'll wrap it up here for now. Probably start something later. So let me get back into here. So let me. Wow, that's come up. What? Okay, well, you showed up just in time for me to actually shut it down and go check the UPS store here. So I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna let Rosetta know that. Yeah. Just so she doesn't go clicking in here and like nobody's home. So okay. All right. But it's okay so far, But yeah, this is I'm gonna post this as a parting thing here. But yeah, go check these guys out if you're really interested in the actual history of Star Trek and what really went on. Like the whole thing about the second pilot, unheard of. It's not, it caused shockwaves in the industry. No, it didn't. It was not unheard. It was unusual, but it was not unheard of. It wasn't even unheard of for Desilu or NBC at the very time, because they were also preparing a second pilot for a sitcom for NBC. So no, second pilot. One show went through 5 pilots back in the 40s. Okay, early days of television, but it's not unusual at all for shows to not that unusual, unheard of for shows to go through multiple pilots if they really believe in the concept. But just okay, this isn't quite it. Try this, but we really think something's going to happen here. And in the case of Star Trek, it was like, okay, yeah, it was I think it was Mort Werner, and one of the guys at NBC, I think it was Mort Werner, called up Herb Solo and kind of because they delivered the cage. No, it wasn't what they're looking for, but it was also they tried to kind of boondoggle them a bit by picking. Yeah, well, that it wasn't. They picked the hardest script in their opinion to do. There were like 3 submissions for possible pilot scripts. They picked the cage because like the other one's like Mud's Women is essentially a bottle, and the other one were pretty easy, standard fare for the most part, and weren't really that groundbreaking thing. They picked the cage because that was the most wild out there show that the script they submitted, and the most demanding because you had the planet sets and everything else. Very little of it's on the Enterprise. And the idea is like, okay, we really don't want to work with Roddenberry again after we did what he did just with the lieutenant. So if we're gonna work with him again, he better prove he can deliver. And so they picked the hardest one. And for the most part, they have to admit he did deliver. But it was kind of like if we go yes on this one, he's going to be more of this. We don't really want more of this. Once in a while is fine, but we do want that action adventure show he promised us. So it's like, okay, if we can do another pilot, and it was just that kind. What about a second pilot? Okay, fine, because they already had the sets built. Recasting is not a problem. Clearly, Nimoy was the only one that stuck around, and that was under protest because they wanted to get rid of him too. But no, second pilots are not unusual, and most pilots really never see the light of day anyway. Not in the course of the series, because many times shows go through significant changes even when they buy the show. Because like with the Dick Van Dyke Show, the original pilot was Man About the House, I think it was called. Or no, that was his company. That was a British show. Head of the Family, I think it was with name. But anyway, it was Carl Reiner as Rob Petrie, a different wife, a different kid, different shooting frame. It was single camera with a laugh track. Alan Brady was someone totally different, but it was the same concept. TV writer, and the pilot involved, taking little Rob to work, see what Daddy does, and it was a rather interesting situation. But it's a case of we like the concept, we like the this work as a sitcom, not with Reiner in the lead, and we don't really like the actors and everything. And how about something like do with the 3 camera with a studio audience, everything, and that's that's why you get. And Dick Van Dyke was a rising star. We want to do something with this guy. How about we put him in this show? That's the way network they do this thing. They pigeonhole things. They were looking for a project, and they probably brought in Dick Van Dyke and screened on the play. What do you think? How about you playing Rob Petrie? Like, we don't want to lose Reiner completely. He's a damn good writer, but we don't see him as the lead. You on the other hand, you could do this, Dick. Let me go around, Well, think Rainn Wilson could have been perfect as Harry Mudd if they'd written him properly. They didn't. They wrote Harry Mudd as a psycho killer. He was not he was a kind of a lovable rogue type thing. But they totally butchered the character of Harry Mudd. Okay. You just watch the bits from Mudd's Women and think that this is not Harry Mudd. Okay. They ruined him. But anyway, all right, we're coming up right about an hour. That seems digestible enough for most folks, much like this meal. But okay, I'm going to go run a little errand before it does get stormy out there. And I'll probably fire something up later. Hopefully Rosetta will be available. And we can do a little more lively stuff than just watching me eat. So we will talk at you later.